Okay, we're on number 10. Let's look what we have. We have a cosine squared alpha, a 2 cosine alpha, and a sine squared alpha over 2. He's the one we're going to have to work with, this sine squared alpha over 2. So let's remember that I'm trying to work with sine squared alpha. That's 1 minus cosine 2 alpha over 2. That's an identity. If you didn't forget it, here's how you derive that identity. So we change sine squared alpha over 2 to 1 minus 2 alpha over 2 over 2. And these two will cross out. So you end up with 1 minus cosine alpha over 2. And you don't forget you have this minus 2 over here. I almost forgot it. So I have to get like denominators for this side to do what I want to do, which is multiply this side by 2. So I changed that 2 to 4 over 2. So multiply this whole side by 2 to get rid of the denominator in the other side. So you get 2 cosine squared alpha plus 4 cosine alpha. And then I'm going to subtract that. So the minus cosine alpha becomes a plus a cosine alpha. And I had a 1. I'm going to subtract a 1 and add a... let's see, we had a 1, and then we're subtracting 4 over 2, so you get a plus 3. Does that make sense? How did I get a plus 3? I'm trying to think. Did I do something wrong here? Because I know that's plus 3. 1 minus cosine alpha. Oh, hello, this is, yeah, so that would be minus 4 when the 2's go away. So, I'm sorry, let's look at this side. This side would be 1 minus cosine alpha minus 4 all over 2. And then I multiply the other side by that 2. So this becomes negative cosine alpha minus 3. And if I add those things back to the other side, that's where I get this cosine alpha plus 3. All right, so what do we have? We have 2 cosine squared alpha plus 5 cosine alpha plus 3 equals 0. So we're going to let a equals cosine alpha. So then factor it. Well, let's see. That gives us 2a squared plus 5a plus 3. So that factors to 2a plus 3 and a plus 1. So you put cosine back in. 2 cosine alpha plus 3 equals 0 gives us cosine alpha is negative 3/2, which never happens. It's over negative 1 and not in the range. And cosine alpha plus 1 gives us cosine alpha is negative 1. And cosine alpha is negative 1 at pi. And the range, the domain that you could put in for alpha was pi to 2 pi. And so the answer would just be pi. So the answer is alpha equals pi. Okay?